Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam, and WWE SmackTalks, and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another episode of Slamdown Livestream. Today we're going to be covering everything BackLash, which is a SmackDown Live's pay-per-view. I want to be really positive about the pay-per-view, but I'm going to really have to say it's a mixed bag. There were some amazing matches, and then there were some really pitiful matches. To me, I've said this before, I still think people are booked wrongly and used incorrectly. Prime example of that, which I said on my predictions, it was Sami Zayn. I really don't... sorry. I really cannot get my head around booking. I really can't. I want to, but I can't. Compared to last year's BackLash, this wasn't on that level. I'm really trying to think of positive things to say. The only good thing I can say, there was some good matches. But then, on some of the good matches, it was the way things were done. I don't know if it's Finn's calling the shots or what the hell's gone on to SmackDown. Because it's creatively, it's not the same. I can't stand the Face of America gimmick for Kevin Owens. I like the Kevin Owens as the heel badass. I'll beat everybody up. I don't care, Kevin Owens. I just think the title giving him the Face of America is stupid. It makes him too gimmicky, and I really do hope they pull away from that. Because I'm not enjoying it. I'm really not enjoying the Kevin Owens. But let's dig into this. We saw Try Dillinger taking on Aiden English. Another match that we've seen before. Now, I know it was on the kickoff show, so I'm not too mad about it, but I think Ty Dillinger should have more of an important match. I'd rather seen him kick off BackLash going against somebody with, I don't know, someone that isn't Aiden English, to put it politely. We've seen him this match too many times. It wasn't special. It wasn't, oh my God, he's going to take on Aiden English. What's going to happen? There was none of that. In my opinion, it was a flat. And that seems to be the problem. A lot of the matches end up just being flat. After that, kicking off BackLash. Oh, yeah. Try Dillinger beat Aiden English. We knew that was going to happen. But After that, kicking off BackLash, we had Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Dolph Ziggler. Now, this was an amazing match. Such a good way to kick off BackLash. I was engaged. They both bought it. I can't fault either one of those talents. I can't even fault the match. It was done to perfection. You could see that Dolph really wanted to go for the win, was pushing to get the win. And that's what I like. I like a match when it's back and forth. And where you get to a point, you don't even know who's going to win. When a match gets like that, that's when I'm deeply invested. And that's when I can get excited. But for me, yeah, that was... I can't say it was match of the night. Actually, sod it, I will say it's match of the night. Definitely for me. I thought this would have been sort of more further up the card. I thought Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin would kick off the show. But no, I've got to give it a pretty good match. Now, the Usos taking on Breezango for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Right, okay. How can... I can't take this match as a serious wrestling match. The amount of comedy stick with... forgot his name now. Tyler Breeze. Came as a janitor, then dressed as a woman. It was amusing. I've got to admit it. It was amusing. But I don't think it was... I can't really class it as a proper wrestling match because of the amount of slapstick involved. We kind of knew that Breezango would not get the victory in this. We knew that it was going to be the Usos that would win this. Because legitimately, you couldn't have Breezango go over. You just couldn't. But no, it was a fun match, is the way I can call this. It was a fun match. A lot better than another match, which I'll talk about in a minute. But no, it was fun. It was amusing. It made me laugh in quite a few parts. So, it was a good match. But if you're just looking for a throw-to-throw wrestling match, that isn't it. After that, we had Sami Zayn taking on Baron Corbin. Now, I've said this before. I think Sami Zayn is underutilised, poorly booked. And also, Baron Corbin's been on a bit of a push this year. And I thought that was going to lead up to something. And then suddenly they throw these two together. I'd rather see Sami Zayn going in matches against people like Dolph Ziggler. Someone like that, because that would have been more intriguing. I would have been glued to that type of match. This... We know Sami Zayn got the win, but I was so disinterested. Because it just felt flat, to be honest with you. After that, we had the 6-woman tag team match. Just why? I don't get it. I said on the predictions, I don't get why they're going to an old formula with the 3-on-3 teams. It's bad enough when we had Team Bad. Because it was just Team Bad and I can't remember the other team. And that's all we saw. They started pushing the women's division now. Started doing new things with it. And now it feels like it's took a step backwards. Didn't enjoy this match. Found it boring. to be honest, I started playing a game on my phone. There was just nothing to the match. But I think this pay-per-view had a lot of problems by being no stipulations. You know, if you're having your pay-per-view, you need to have some sort of stipulation. I think they could have probably gone better and made it a elimination match. Would have made it a bit more interesting. But I just found it boring. I'm trying to be nice here. I really am trying to be nice. But you know what I'm like, guys. I'm honest with you. I'll give you my honest opinion. And it's another one that fell flat. I'm sorry, but it did. After that, we had Kevin Owens taking on AJ Styles. Now, this match was an amazing match. I was engaged. I was actually really looking forward to these two going at it. I'm not too happy about the way the match ended, but I'm not upset about it either. The reason I'm not upset about it, because it looks like they're going to have more of a feud with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, leading probably to the next pay-per-view. And it was nice that Kevin Owens wasn't dropping the title. You know, because before we saw him drop it to Jericho. No, he beat Jericho, then Jericho beat him, and then he beat Jericho on the same night. It was too much changing about. And if he dropped the title to AJ Styles, again, it would have been too much moving about. But then again, I did want him to kind of drop the title so we can get rid of this gimmick he's using at the moment. The whole face of America bullcrap. I was just saying, I just said it earlier. We want Kevin Owens fight Kevin Owens. We want the badass Kevin Owens. Not what they're throwing down our throats at the moment. It's boring. Give us something more interesting. But the match itself was brilliant. I did like that AJ Styles was counted out because of his foot being caught in the announce table. So I quite enjoyed that aspect of it, that he wasn't... it wasn't a straight pinfall. It wasn't, it was more of an accident, really, that he was counted out. But that made me more engaged to it. That made me, think, right, okay, what are they going to do next? So it's made me look forward to what's coming next. Now, another match that I'm going to say is probably a solid good match. I've got to say, so far, my favourite matches was the Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not going to say the Usos and Breezango because that was a bit corny, but I liked it, but not my favourite. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper taking Eric Rowan, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. My favourite matches of BackLash. I really wanted Eric Rowan to go over, especially with what we've seen on Talking Smack and even on the pre-show. I think the character they have him playing now is brilliant. I'm intrigued. Luke Harper's not really doing nothing. We know he's a good guy, but that's about it. There's no character there. But Eric Rowan, there's a lot of character with Eric Rowan at the moment. So I would have rather seen Eric Rowan getting the push here. But obviously, Luke Harper got the victory. I did like the couple of moments where everyone looked at his mask and then got an urge of energy. And, the little things is what I liked about that match. I'm going to have to talk about it, aren't I? I've got to talk about this match with you lovely people. Oh. I'm going to call this match we've got to have an Indian champion to go to India so we can do better than Impact Wrestling's Indian tour. Sorry, but that's how I'm going to call it, because that's what it is. People who don't know, Impact Wrestling are doing 4 tapings at India. And here's a little interesting fact for people. India is Impact Wrestling's highest viewership. I got quoted a number at 2.2 million. Impact Wrestling is more popular over there. Well, most places outside the United States, Impact Wrestling is more popular than WWE. UK, Impact Wrestling's beating WWE. Now, what was it? 20,000 more that Impact Wrestling has in the UK. But that's the point. More people outside of the US are engaged with Impact Wrestling. I definitely do have the view of that Jinder Mahal's push. It's all down to Impact Wrestling. If you think about it, the surprising him become number 1 contender, them going to India. I'm just going to run a few little things that I want people to think about. Okay? World of Sports announces that it's coming back on television. A little while later, UK tournaments announced. Bit fishy. Impact Wrestling announced they're going to India and doing 4 tapings with India. Time later, WWE announces they're going to India. Coincidence? No. Vince McMahon is a very shrewd businessman. I won't be surprised if we see the collapse of Ring of Honor. But saying that, with what the owner of Anthem has turned around and said that he wants Impact Wrestling to work with Ring of Honor because they're both on the Fight Network. But, anything can happen. But back to this. Vince McMahon is a shrewd businessman. If you look at the past, he's took down rivals. He's took down competitors. Did it in the 80s. Did it in the 90s, taking WCW, taking ECW. He's doing manoeuvres to make sure Impact doesn't keep rising. And that's how it is. He's just a very shrewd businessman and he does his things his way. But like I just said, Impact Wrestling is number 1 in India. So from the WWE standpoint, from what I can tell from the events going on, and with giving Jinder Mahal this victory, they're thinking, right, if we have an Indian champion, make the Indian announcers go crazy about it, we'll pick up more Indian viewers. Which I don't think it will happen, but it could happen. But then Impact's got a lot of Indian talent that's actually going to be on their 4 shows, tapings in India. I just personally believe, I think this is a mistake. I think Jinder Mahal as US champion could have worked. I don't think he needed the main title. But I do think this is to get over with Indian fans. After this, I kind of want to see Randy Orton go to Raw. I'd rather see Randy Orton go to Raw and SmackDown get someone like Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. I don't think Randy Orton really fits in SmackDown. If you look at the talent, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper, realistically, I can't see... The only person I can see that could step up to Randy Orton is Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. I do think Orton would be better off on Raw and having someone like Seth Rollins, Finn Balor over on SmackDown would be a lot better. But I'm annoyed Jinder Mahal won. Like I said, it was a surprise. Well, I'm not going to say it was too much of a surprise. I had an inkling it was going to happen. I predicted it. Actually, saying predicting, I've got a few right, a few wrong. Ty Dillinger, I was right. Shinsuke Nakamura, I was right. Usos, I was right. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, I think I got that one wrong. The women's tag team match, I got that wrong. I thought Naomi and Charlotte Flair and Becky were going to win this. And I thought I was going to see Naomi turn against Becky or turn against Charlotte Flair, but no. I did want AJ Styles to win this, but I can't remember what I said about Kevin Owens. I think I said AJ Styles on that one. Eric Wright got that one wrong. I got a few right, a few wrong. It was a bit half and half on this one. But yeah, it's. I can't say it's one of the best pay-per-views. The main event, I was just like, yeah, know what's going to happen. And no offence to people, I don't think Jinder Mahal is good enough to be going for the main title. You know, I've just said some other names that are good enough to go for that main title. You know, you look at guys like Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn. I'd be quite happy with any of them being champion. I just do not think Jinder Mahal is the right person. I just don't believe in him. Don't think he's good enough. That's going on his ability. His mic skills are not too bad, but his ability as a wrestler, don't think he's good enough, and I don't think he should be holding this title. To me, if I weren't doing these review shows, I'd be sort of getting to the point where I'm thinking about turning off. But that's me just being honest with you. But I think that's everything for this show. Don't forget we're back on tomorrow at 9 PM GMT with Raw review. Don't forget you can check us out on Twitter at Slamdown Live, or check out all our articles at slamdown.co.uk. So a big thank you to everybody watching. I will be checking through your comments. People that are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to comment as well. I do reply to your comments and read comments. And remember, this show is for the fans, by the fans. I've been your host, Ashley Friend, and I'll see you again tomorrow.